So, tell us about your year, Jevin. We're excited to hear.
Yes. Okay. Hello to everyone in the room, as well as to fellow Zoom people, whoever is in there. I know Fernanda's in there, so I can't wait for you to hear everything. But my name is Jevin Rocha. I'm a second year Texas Leadership Scholar, and this is my end of year presentation. Okay, so this past summer, I was given the very wonderful opportunity, honestly, to study abroad in Costa Rica, where everything was paid for, such a privilege, as well as for the honors college, even provided extra funding for me to be able to fly the night before at Dallas. That's where we had to meet, as well as stay at the hotel, which was a very comfortable stay. And then the next day, I got to meet all my friends in Costa Rica, who, as you can see, who I made a bunch of relationships with. This is my wonderful professor who I had the great privilege to learn from in our leadership and business course. She's a wonderful woman in Costa Rica. She does a lot for the country, even with the government. She works with them. So definitely got to learn actually how the country operates and everything that they do. So, and then of course was given the great privilege to go to the beach, go to a farm, got to hold a baby goat, so all kinds of all interesting flowers. They were actually, one that looked like a pineapple, but apparently it's used for shampoo. So that was interesting to see. And this picture is surprisingly blurry, but this is my great bus driver. At first, we thought he did not like us for the first week, but thankfully he warmed up to us because apparently actually bus drivers don't get treated the best in Costa Rica. So the fact that we would always talk to him and we loved him and everything, and he really warmed up to us. So that was great to see. And of course, we also went to a coffee farm, which had a butterfly house. So this is actually real. That butterfly was actually very blue. So that was really cool to see. And of course, in the end of our course, we had a project where we had to investigate a corrupt company in the world with its very big scandal. So that's our picture of our end of year presentation with my group members at the end. So that was fun to see actually how crazy big companies do for the sake of money and not want to take responsibility for it. So that was great. And then our final goodbye pictures, unfortunately, but thankfully we still keep in touch. So it's always great. So these are the classes I took for fall semester. Data structures was definitely one of my harder classes, which is just practically a more advanced programming class of Java, which we just learn ways to store, organize, sort data much more efficiently, and as well as like algorithms in our programming. Environmental botany was just where I took a bunch of pictures of for plants all across the campus. So that was fun, as well as just like a simple little flower project at the end. Applied linear algebra was also incredibly difficult. I thought calculus 2 was hard. I felt like this was a little bit less than the calculus 2 difficulty, but definitely not one of my favorite classes, that's for sure. And history, mathematical structures, well, definitely easy towards the beginning, towards the middle, but towards the end, it was definitely a lot more complicated, confusing the things that we were just learning through, as well as just like the back systems and C programming and algorithms. And programming in C, honestly, I am not a huge fan of this language. It's not fun for some reason, or just something that I cannot wrap my brain around it. But that's okay because you live and you learn, so it's always fun. So, and these are the classes I took for this semester. This is actually an assignment I had to do for systems programming, which has actually been my favorite class this entire time I've been here in college. I just find it very fun and interesting just because of the fact that what you would require hundreds of lines, like in Java, you could easily do like 20 or less lines in this, which is just so convenient and definitely much preferred compared to other things. And it's just like a fun language, which is practically where you go into your computer, you type command prompt, and that's your operating system of your computer, and you use the language, which we use bash, but also as well as like other functions you would use in there. It's the best way to simplify it. And another fun class I took this semester as well. My second favorite, actually, applications programming, which I'll go into more in the next slide, where you just literally you learn how to make applications on your Windows computer and how to code the backend, develop it, and even build it to go further on this other app, which we would use Scene Builder, which is just a very friendly beginner app where you would be able to make your own software. So that was really cool to learn. Computer organization was pretty similar actually to discrete mathematical structures to my class last semester. Just learning more truly like how a computer operates, the systems where the data is being transferred, as well as learning assembly, which is also another very difficult language. So that's not too fun to learn. And then last but not least, design and analysis of algorithms. Thankfully, this class wasn't too difficult just because it was similar to my class last semester, which was data structures, where you just learn algorithms, methods, learn the space complexity, time complexity of the programs, the computer, and just like what's more efficient, what's better to use for this type of situation or this scenario when you're programming. So, and these are the projects I had to do for my applications programming class. This is actually the final semester project that we did for this semester for that class, which was to our own discretion for what we wanted to do, which was a Pomodoro timer. This was the screen I was particularly in charge of, which is, if you don't know what a Pomodoro session is, you just do your work for 25 minutes, then you take a break for 5 minutes, and you just keep on repeating that. Where you select the task, you keep on track, start the timer, pause it in case you need to do a restroom break, or you can reset it if you wanted to. So this was super fun to actually build in everything and have everything actually working and operating. This was actually the first application I made, which was for the class, which was just a simple like 8-ship application for the class, which you just always have to do and you just continue working on throughout the semester. But it was fun because compared to my programming classes that I would do in elementary just for fun, the classes, I actually got to click a button and it actually did something. So that was super fun for it to actually things for it to actually work and to actually occur, for the screen to change, for things to actually pop up in the information. So that was super fun to work with, especially because this was actually more of the first classes where learn to work in a group setting, especially with GitHub, which is just a repository, which practically just means you upload code somewhere and you combine it and you're able to use it separately. So that was definitely more, it was a great experience in order to learn like truly like real world, like how would you apply it in the career field. And of course, we're definitely very much noobs when it comes to this. So not as professional as the big shots, but I'm excited to go even further when it comes to this class to apply everything we want to go even further, because some other the group projects, they went hardcore on some of these projects and went things even above that we didn't learn in class. So I'm excited to learn those concepts. So, and this is my experience for being a part of Rotaract, which is the college chapter of the international chapter of Rotary, which they practically just serve the entire country, world, anywhere communities or people are in. And it has been great because it's kind of similar in a way where it's seminar where we have a guest speaker speak. So here we had Angie White, who is the CEO of a nonprofit organization called CASA, which was a really great experience and to learn the harsh reality of how honestly our government works. And because what they do is that they speak for children who unfortunately don't have a voice just because they're too young, who unfortunately have been in family situations that they just can't leave, unfortunately, without intervention from the government. And as well as Emma Redkin, she is the founder of a nonprofit organization called Aid the Silent. This was also another great opportunity because to learn from truly where she came from all these wonderful people from Rotary, the San Antonio branch, of everything where they came from, which was the bottom, and then learning to figure out how to navigate everything through their life, through their troubles and struggles. She's deaf, so as you can guess from the name of her organization, they provide resources of children who don't have the money or the financial stability to be able to go to a doctor to pay for these things, or to get even hearing aids, which are crazy expensive, and insurance doesn't like to cover that either. So she's really doing a lot of great work for the people here in San Antonio. And this was also a great networking opportunity that we had, which was a university get together that we had at the current Rotaract president's house, which is this lady right here, which she is part of the Frost family. So that was fun, where we got to learn from each other because each of us had different, pros and cons, things we were struggling with, things we were more strong with compared to the different universities. So that was a great opportunity on how we can learn to, improve things on our end here at UTSA. So I'm excited to grow that organization along with my other scholars, as you recognize a few, Viola, Leo, Dominique, and Megan. So that's been a fun experience to learn to just navigate all the information for our organization, keeping track, and develop my leadership skills even further this semester. So that's been really great as a learning opportunity. And we also had another network opportunity, which I unfortunately didn't have the picture of, but that was at the ex-president Rotary's house. Great man, lovely wife, super kind. Just it was great to learn even more people. Yeah, connect with other people who also just do wonderful things here in San Antonio that we don't really know. So of course, big thing, TLS, everything. It's been exciting, honestly, to be in and being a leadership position. Still don't have actually an official title, but we'll figure it out the next semester, since now we'll actually have officer positions and we aim to be an official organization. So that's super exciting to finally be able to have our hands out in the field, just be like the top scholar every day. So I'm excited for that. These are all our socials that we got to definitely improve a lot more this semester, where every week we were always planning something, having something done. Our Easter social, our Halloween contest, big surprise. Stacy won. She was Justin Bieber. Everyone loves Justin Bieber, I guess, and she won, but she did a great little impersonation of that. And also it was really fun to finally have a big and little system where we can mentor fellow young classmen with similar things that of interest, and also to help them through our course. So that's been exciting, especially for the next cohort. Now we'll be officially grandpas and grandmas with our little grandsons and granddaughters, with our big and little system. And since now we'll have more, maybe two, some of us will have two, and especially since some of us are leaving. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm excited for that. And then one of our most recent socials, we also had a family feud night. Our opposite team was just way too competitive. Unfortunately, we lost that side, but it's okay. We tried our best. And we also had a movie night last semester during which we just played a bunch of story games where it was just reading. So this was really great, but I loved being a part of this to now to be in a hold a leadership position to grow this organization to from the ground up, from truly where we hadn't how anything sorted out. We're figuring out everything on our own, being in communication with George, figuring out how to press route, press items, grow further, be in communication with our fellow scholars, seeing what they want, what their desires, what their needs are, and how they want to see the grow this even further. So I'm excited to take that even a step further, since now we'll have even more helpers on hand, since now we'll have Ashley, Safida, and Electra as fellow new officers for next semester. And of course, we'll add more roles probably even going into the spring semester, because it is definitely a lot to handle a student org. 3 people is just not enough. This semester was way too busy with everything that you have to handle, and especially since not everyone is too happy, but we try our best to meet everyone's needs so they actually become like they're part of a community and in college, because truly this is the best family you could ever have when you come into college. Not you always have that system of people of support who can be with you through the hard times, just through the laughing times, or as well as just someone to hold you accountable so you actually study and do your work. So that's always great. And then these are all the great volunteering opportunities that we've had. I personally believe I was the best minion at Haven Purple. I went the hardest, so that was great. This was a volunteer event at a golfing place with Manny, which is Ferrari Kids. If you don't know, but he is the founder of Ferrari Kids. Such a wonderful, great man to work with. Truly loves children. What really wants to help these people who unfortunately, are not well off and physically and health wise. So, and then this was another event with Ferrari Kids, which was our gala, which was such another great experience to truly see a live auction in action, how it's really like a movie. Someone shouts $5,000, they need $5,000. So that was great to see that's actually like that. And then be able to network with a bunch of these people, talk to them through this opportunity, through the morning shift of volunteering. I was able to talk to one of the other volunteers there, and she has her own business that she does. She was actually mentioning she was looking for an intern for her specific field. So that was a great opportunity to network her with someone that I know for one of our fellow scholars. So that was a great door opportunity for them. And it was great just to know these people, be in contact with them, and know really what it's like to dress up and truly talk with all these people who are in great standing in San Antonio. And this was one of our more recent volunteer opportunities, which was at the Botanical Gardens. Surprisingly, making a flower bed, sewing the door, and just moving everything is surprisingly therapeutic, especially because it was not hot. It was cloudy that day, which thank the Lord. Oh my gosh, because the moment the sun came out just for 5 seconds, we were sweating bullets, so that was not fun. But it's always so fun to volunteer with my fellow scholars because they always make everything so much better. Another great opportunity I had the privilege this semester, starting last semester as well, whereas to serve at my church specifically, I work with the live stream team. So I got to learn how to use an ATEM, which is that thing right there, which is just changing between the different monitors, the different screens, just operating all the back end stuff. So that was really cool to see, especially use an actual headset and talk to the camera person as if we're doing a movie shoot. That's just what it felt like. But that was super cool. Just setting up the cameras, plugging in all the HDMIs, making sure everything's working and connected to the computer as well as the slides, of course. And my future plans for this is that I'm super looking forward to that I'm going to learn how to operate all the tech at the church in the future. So I'm excited to really learn how to set up the instruments, how to operate the volumes for the instruments as well as the musician, people who are singing, and the slides, computers, just everything. I really want to learn it all. It looks so much fun and super cool. So I'm definitely excited to say on my resume, I was like, oh, I can operate a whole back end of a church with technology if you need me to, for whatever reason. But this has definitely been very much a comfort space for me. So close. This year has been a little bit more rough when it comes to personal things and aspects. I've had something come up, and just despite all of that, life keeps on moving. So I've got to work my best despite, and this has definitely been my comfort, my place to recharge, to talk with fellow people who share the same faith as me, who want to walk this walk together of life with God at the center of it all. So this was definitely a privilege and such a great family to as well add to my TLS family, to have a bunch of people to, talk to, come to for my advice. Or if I'm ever having a rough night, I can just go to one of their houses and then we can just talk things out. So this was definitely a privilege for me and mine to be a part of this year. This year I traveled a lot, although most of it of course was during the break. This was when I went to El Paso, then I went to a road trip with my best friends here at Rioso. This was when I went to my friend's birthday party in Austin. This was her aunt's backyard. Yes, she has the river. And then these are actually my best friends that I made in Costa Rica. She graduated this last semester, so she's now actually going to UT Health here for nursing school. So I'll be able to be in closer distance with her, so we'll definitely keep more in touch. This was the beach of Florida, and this was my most recent trip of going to Chicago for my nephew's 2-year birthday party at the zoo. As you can see, a polar bear. They are very big, and he loves performing for people for some reason. He just kept doing the same thing over and over, swimming around, back and forth, back and forth. These were the beautiful lights of Chicago City at night. So that was also another great view to witness and to see during the night. And that's also been definitely a great recharger for whenever, school's rough, you're always being confined on computer screen and sitting down for long periods of time. This has definitely been a great way to be in the outdoors and just relax, take a breather and appreciate nature and just not have worries of life constantly on your mind. So, but these are the plans that I have for summer. I currently have 2 connections, which thankfully because of my church, to possibly shadow. One person there is the lead engineer. He's a machine engineer at Box, which is really cool. And he actually also graduated from UTSA, so he's a fellow alumni. So possibly shadow with him, and then also a friend of a friend who is a software engineer. So those two I just currently have to be in communication with just to see, what's the plans, what are the things that we can actually move towards to, what can we do to actually, work this out and just see who actually ends up allows me to have the privilege to shadow them for this semester. So I'm excited for that. And then this semester, I really did want to have the time and the space in order to get certifications. Although my classes this semester were a lot more harder than I would like to admit, so it definitely took a lot more of my time than I expected. But these are some certifications I definitely want to get over the summer to make my resume look more polished, develop my skills more in order to look better to, job career, the work field, all the businesses to make them want to hire me more since the field is just so competitive, specifically more in the languages of Python and Java, and also Linux, which is one of the softwares and programming languages, a badge of learning in my systems programming class that I mentioned before. So I'm really excited to learn those more because systems programming class, I definitely want to go more toward that route. I definitely opened my mind more. Originally, I wanted to be I was leaning towards more being a software engineer, but because of these different classes and just realizing truly what more I excel at and the things that I prefer that are more to my joy, I also opened the route to possibly wanting to be a data scientist. So I officially declared a concentration in software engineering this semester, but I definitely want to aim to having one in data science as well, because apparently I have 2 concentrations, which I did on. And then of course, because of these terrible gas prices right now, I need a job. So I hopefully aim to, as some summer, I worked with Lackland at the Air Force Base. So through there, I also saw other job opportunities and open positions for different things. So hopefully I can work there again. And if not, I'll see wherever the work field would like to accept me and take me and in order to help me pay for my gas because the economy is not great right now. But that is all.
Excellent job. It's nice to hear what you have going on. I particularly appreciated how you talked through your classes, and although it sounded like they're a lot, it also sounds like you really enjoy them. So that's really nice. I would like to offer that in terms of your professional development and career development, if you are not already doing some things, for example, with the NAGEM Center or participating in, I don't think I heard you mention any of the student groups that are focused, like kind of, I'm thinking of groups like ACM
Yes.
or some of the hackathons or datathons. Those are really, really good opportunities for skill building and really good opportunities also for getting connections to industry. if you've not already looked at some things like the city of San Antonio and Techport San Antonio, work with George on that. Come talk to me, because you should, be moving pretty aggressively into that sort of quote unquote work. So that that's gonna launch you to the next thing. So it seems like you're doing a lot of really good stuff. I also want to just say a thank you for being a leader with the Texas Leadership Scholars. It's not lost on me that the three of you who are kind of doing this, you're launching it for us,
Yeah.
right? You're the inaugural folks. How difficult that can be at times, and you all are doing a good job.
Yeah.
So.
Definitely an honor. I love it.
So with that, I don't know if Kamian has anything she wants to offer, or you don't have to, but.
It was really fun, like especially the first part of your presentation, because I'm also a computer science major. So like all of the classes that you took, I'm very surprised that systems programming was your favorite, because that was absolutely torture. Cannot do it ever again. Like love Professor. Who did you have? Like Sam Silvestro? No.
Shoot, I always do this. Slavin, Rocky Slavin, that's his name. That's
Maybe that's why, but Silvestro just
Don't get me wrong, it's definitely a difficult class.
for sure.
But I just love it just because of honestly how it feels more kind of like simple and like more intuitive of the way like the systems kind of operate. Especially because of course the less lines of code makes it much better compared to other things. So that's what I love the most.
Yeah, for me it was just like very hard to like wrap my head around it. Like how you were talking about C, like for me C was like really easy, but like learning like Bash and Linux and all that.
Interesting.
Absolutely.
8 pointers.
I love pointers, but yeah, it was really fun.
Something it takes all kinds, right?
It does.
Even in the narrow field of computer science.
That makes sense. I was wondering because your reaction made it sound like made it look like as if you knew what I was talking about. I was like, oh, are you a computer science?
Yeah. Yeah. But if you ever need like connections, I think DevSA is like really good. Like they always have like networking events and stuff.
What was the first thing you said? Sorry.
DevSA, like they have like a Discord
Oh.
and stuff. Like they're situated like downtown. They always like have events and workshops and stuff, and it really helped me to like build my portfolio and stuff like that. So that could be really good. But your presentation.
Thank you so much for that, man, for sure.
Kamian's done a couple of cool internships. Yeah, she's a year ahead of you.
Can you remember your name again? I'm sorry.
Kamian, like Damien, or the cave. Yeah.
All right, we will switch on over to the next person. Brianna Sepulveda, one of our top scholars, is our next presenter at 11:30. All right, thank you, Jevin. Good job.